Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when you can feel deep inside that something greater is coming, even if you can't yet see it with your eyes. It's that stirring in your soul, that whisper in your heart that tells you you are on the edge of a breakthrough. And for every woman listening right now, this is not by accident. You didn't just stumble on these words. You are here because God has been preparing you for something bigger, something greater, something that will transform your life in ways you never imagined. Before a blessing arrives, it doesn't always look like sunshine and ease. It often looks like struggle, closed doors, restless nights, and seasons of silence. But what feels like confusion is actually confirmation. What feels like loss is often protection. And what feels like delay is really divine timing working in your favor. Stay with me until the very end of this message, because I am going to walk you through 7 powerful signs that God is about to release something extraordinary into your life. These are not just theories. These are spiritual truths that have guided countless women into their destiny. If you've been waiting, if you've been praying, if you've been wondering when it's your turn, then lean in closely, because the words you're about to hear may just be the very confirmation you've been asking for. When God is about to bless a woman with something big, one of the first signs she will notice is a divine discomfort stirring inside her spirit. What once felt like home no longer feels like it belongs to her. The things that used to satisfy her heart, the routines that once gave her peace, suddenly feel too small, too limiting, too temporary. This is not an accident. It is heaven's way of whispering that her current season is no longer enough for the calling she is stepping into. Discomfort is not punishment, it is preparation. It is God stretching her capacity and pulling her away from the familiar so she can step into the extraordinary. A woman in this stage often feels unsettled without knowing why. She may look around at her life and realize nothing is technically wrong, but something deep inside her knows she was created for more. That sense of more is not greed. It is not impatience. It is God awakening her spirit to a bigger assignment. When God wants to elevate someone, He first makes sure they can no longer shrink into spaces that were never meant to contain them. Just like a seed buried underground feels pressure before it breaks into the light, a woman destined for blessing feels the tension before the breakthrough. This divine discomfort may show up in many ways. The job she once loved might suddenly feel draining. The friendships she held onto for years may no longer match her energy. Even her own habits and patterns might feel outdated, as though she has outgrown them overnight. She may catch herself saying, I don't know why, but I just don't fit here anymore. That is the whisper of heaven saying, daughter, I am preparing you for something greater. At first, this shift can feel frustrating because human nature craves stability. A woman may ask herself why she cannot just be content, why she feels restless, even when everything around her seems fine. But what she does not realize is that God is stirring her heart on purpose. The uneasiness is a signal. He does not want her to get too comfortable in a place that cannot carry the weight of her destiny. The blessing that is on the way requires a stronger foundation, a bigger room, a wider vision. Instead of fighting this discomfort, she should lean into it. When she feels her spirit outgrowing her surroundings, she must understand that she is not breaking down. She is breaking through. This is the season where prayer feels deeper, reflection feels sharper, and even small choices feel more meaningful. God is aligning her steps without her even realizing it. Every restless night, every moment of dissatisfaction, every quiet nudge in her soul is divine evidence that a major blessing is on its way. So if a woman is feeling that tug right now, she should not panic or doubt herself. She should recognize it for what it is. Proof that her current season is ending and a new chapter is unfolding. Discomfort is the language God uses when He is about to move her into destiny. It is heaven's gentle way of saying, get ready, because what's coming is bigger than anything you've ever imagined. When God is about to bless a woman with something big, one of the clearest signs she will see is the closing of doors she thought would always remain open. These doors can look like opportunities that slip away, relationships that suddenly end, or plans that fail despite her best efforts. At first, it may feel confusing, even heartbreaking, because in her mind, those doors seemed like the very path to her success or happiness. Yet what she must understand is that when God closes a door, it is never rejection. It is redirection. He is not taking something away to hurt her. He is making room for something greater that she cannot yet see. This can be one of the hardest lessons to accept because closed doors often come without explanation. A woman may ask herself why the interview didn't work out, why the partnership fell apart, or why a certain relationship ended when she gave it everything she could. She may even question her own worth, wondering if she did something wrong. But the truth is, closed doors are rarely about her shortcomings. They are about her protection. God sees what is hidden behind those doors. He knows the burdens she cannot yet carry, the heartbreak she does not deserve, and the distractions that would have delayed her destiny. By closing the door, He is preserving her energy for the right opportunities that will honor her value and align with her purpose. Closed doors are also an invitation to trust. They teach her that not every no is a setback, and not every ending is a failure. Sometimes the very thing she is mourning is what God never intended for her to hold on to in the first place. It is only when she looks back later that she realizes how much she was spared, how much time was saved, and how much bigger the blessing was that came afterward. Every closed door becomes a chapter in her story of faith, showing her that God's vision is always clearer than her own. In this season, she may notice patterns. A job may turn her away, only for a better opportunity to surface later. A friendship may dissolve, only for new people to appear who genuinely support her growth. A plan may collapse, only for a bigger one to emerge that she could never have orchestrated by herself. These are not coincidences. They are divine interruptions designed to shift her into alignment with blessings beyond her imagination. Instead of resisting the closed doors, a woman should begin to thank God for them. Though it may sting in the moment, the truth is that every door closed with purpose is a silent blessing. Every rejection is actually protection. Every ending is making space for a beginning that will transform her life. So when she faces a season of no, she must remember it is not the end of her story. It is simply God clearing the path, so when the right door opens, she will be fully ready to walk through it with strength, confidence, and grace. When God is about to bless a woman with something big, one of the most powerful signs she will notice is a heightened sense of intuition. It is as if her inner voice becomes louder, clearer, and harder to ignore. She may not understand why she feels a sudden knowing about certain people, places, or decisions, but deep within, she can sense that her spirit is being guided. This is not just instinct, it is divine discernment, sharpened so that she can recognize the right doors to walk through and the wrong ones to avoid. God never sends a blessing without first equipping a woman to handle it. And one of the ways He prepares her is by strengthening her inner compass. This heightened intuition shows up in everyday life. She may walk into a room and instantly feel whether it is the right environment for her. She may meet someone new and sense in her heart whether they carry good intentions or hidden motives. She may even notice her desires shifting, pulling her toward choices that once felt risky, but now feel aligned with her purpose. These nudges are not random. They are signs that God is training her to listen, to pause, and to trust the guidance of her spirit. Sometimes this inner clarity can feel uncomfortable because it pushes her away from things she once thought she wanted. She may find herself saying no to opportunities that look good on the outside but feel wrong on the inside. She may distance herself from people she once loved deeply, not because of bitterness, but because she can feel they are no longer part of her next chapter. To others, her choices may seem confusing, but to her, they feel undeniable. That is the beauty of divine discernment. It gives peace in decisions that others may not understand. The sharpening of intuition is also a form of protection. God knows the enemy often sends counterfeits before the real blessing arrives. These counterfeits may look perfect, sound perfect, and seem perfectly timed, but her spirit will sense the difference. The blessing meant for her will align with her values, her peace, and her purpose, while the counterfeit will create confusion, drain her energy, or demand her to compromise who she is. With heightened intuition, she will be able to tell the difference and avoid settling for less than she deserves. This season of heightened inner knowing also builds her confidence. Each time she listens to her spirit and sees the wisdom of that choice confirmed in her life. She learns to trust herself more deeply. She realizes that God has placed within her a compass that always points toward what is right for her soul. No matter how uncertain the external circumstances may seem, she knows she carries within her the ability to choose wisely, to step carefully, and to walk in alignment with her destiny. So when a woman notices her intuition growing stronger, when she feels her inner voice becoming impossible to silence, she should embrace it with faith. It is not paranoia, it is preparation. It is God fine-tuning her spirit so that when her blessing arrives, she will not miss it, she will not mistake it, and she will not let it slip away. Instead, she will be ready to recognize it, honor it, and walk boldly into the life she was meant to live. When God is about to bless a woman with something big, one of the most significant signs she will experience is isolation before elevation. This can be a confusing and even painful season because it feels like people start falling away without warning. Relationships she thought were permanent begin to fade. Friendships grow distant, and environments that once felt comfortable no longer bring her peace. At first, she might feel abandoned or wonder if she has done something wrong, but the truth is, isolation is not rejection. It is divine protection. God is pulling her away from what cannot go with her to the next level. He knows the weight of the blessing he is about to release, and not everyone around her is equipped to handle it. Isolation serves a greater purpose. When a woman is surrounded by noise, opinions, and distractions, it becomes hard for her to hear God's voice clearly. So he allows her to walk through a season of quiet separation, where she can reflect, realign, and prepare her heart for what is ahead. In this silence, her faith grows stronger because she learns to depend less on the approval of others and more on the guidance of her Creator. She begins to understand that solitude is not loneliness. It is a sacred space where clarity, healing, and growth are born. This stage of isolation often tests her patience. She may long for the comfort of companionship or the reassurance of familiar voices, but instead, she is left with herself and her thoughts. What she does not always see is that God is using this time to strip away everything that no longer serves her destiny. Some people cannot celebrate the blessing that is coming her way. Some environments cannot hold the weight of her calling. Some habits and mindsets cannot survive in the season of elevation. So God removes them in advance, even when she does not fully understand why. During this time, she may feel misunderstood by others who do not see the bigger picture. They may question her choices, misinterpret her silence, or distance themselves because they no longer relate to her growth. This can feel heavy, but it is also necessary. When God is about to do something extraordinary, He requires that a woman stand firm in who she is becoming, even if it means walking alone for a while. The people meant for her next chapter will align with her naturally, but those who were only meant for a previous season will drift away. This isolation is also a time of preparation. It is where vision becomes clearer, resilience becomes stronger, and purpose becomes undeniable. She will discover strengths she never knew she had, develop skills she never thought she needed, and learn lessons that will guide her once the blessing arrives. What looks like separation is actually transformation. God is not punishing her, He is positioning her. He is setting her apart so that when her elevation comes, she will not just rise. She will soar with confidence, wisdom, and unshakable faith. So if a woman finds herself in a season where she feels alone, she should not despair. She should recognize it as a holy sign that something great is on the horizon. Her isolation is not the end of her story. It is the silent, sacred beginning of her elevation. When God is about to bless a woman with something big, one of the most powerful signs she will experience is the appearance of unusual opportunities and repeated confirmations. These are not ordinary moments. They are divine alignments that seem almost too perfect to be coincidences. Doors she never even knocked on suddenly begin to open. Conversations with strangers turn into guidance she needed. Ideas she once ignored resurface with clarity and urgency. It is as if the universe itself is rearranging to make sure she steps into what God has prepared for her. These moments may seem random, but they are not. They are heaven's way of saying, you are exactly where you need to be. Unusual opportunities often show up when she least expects them. She might be in a season where she feels uncertain, wondering if she is truly on the right path And then suddenly, an unexpected call, an open door, or a new connection appears that aligns perfectly with her goals and dreams. These opportunities may not look flashy at first, but they carry the potential to shift her life in extraordinary ways. The blessing God has planned is so big that He starts aligning people, places, and timing in a way she could never orchestrate on her own. Alongside these opportunities, she will notice confirmations everywhere. A phrase she has been meditating on might show up in a book, a sermon, or even in a casual conversation. A scripture she read in private may be repeated to her by someone else without them knowing what she is going through. A dream she has carried quietly in her heart might suddenly be mentioned by someone who sees the same potential in her. These are not accidents. These are God's gentle reminders that she is not walking blindly. She is being guided step by step toward her destiny. The key in this season is paying attention. Many women dismiss these signs because they expect their blessing to arrive in a loud, dramatic way. But often, it begins with subtle nudges and small affirmations that grow into something greater. God tests her ability to notice, to respond, and to trust. The unusual opportunities that show up are invitations to walk in faith, even when they require leaving her comfort zone. The confirmations that keep repeating themselves are signals that she is not imagining things. Her spirit is aligned with divine timing. This stage builds her courage. When she sees patterns repeating, when she notices doors opening that no one else can explain, she begins to trust that she is not moving by chance, but by purpose. Even when fear rises, even when doubt whispers, the evidence of alignment gives her strength to take the next step. She realizes that the blessing ahead of her is not something she has to chase. It is something being guided to her by divine design. So if a woman begins to notice unusual opportunities appearing, if she keeps hearing the same confirmations in different places, she should take it seriously. These are not coincidences. They are signs that her blessing is already in motion. God is making sure she does not miss it, making sure she is ready for it, and making sure she knows without a doubt that what is coming is bigger than she ever prayed for. When we bring all of this together, it becomes clear that the journey of a woman stepping into her blessing is not random, it is intentional. Every season of discomfort, every closed door, every moment of sharpened intuition, every stretch of isolation, and every unusual opportunity is part of a bigger design. These are not just struggles or coincidences, they are divine signs pointing her toward the extraordinary life she was created to live. God does not bless halfway. When He prepares a woman for something big, He aligns her heart, her spirit, and her surroundings so she is strong enough, wise enough, and ready enough to receive it. So if you are experiencing these signs, hold on to your faith. Do not doubt the process. Trust that every challenge is building you, every ending is protecting you, and every nudge in your spirit is guiding you. What you are walking through is not the closing of a story, but the beginning of a new chapter written by the one who knows you better than anyone else. Your blessing is closer than you think. Stay faithful, stay patient, and stay prepared, because when it arrives, it will be bigger than anything you imagined. I want to thank you for giving your heart and your time to this message today. I wish you strength, clarity, and unshakable faith as you walk boldly into the life that is waiting for you. May every sign become a reminder that you are chosen, you are guided, and you are destined for something greater. Good luck on your journey, and may the blessings ahead of you be even brighter than the prayers you carry within you. Thank you.